Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official Marvel Snap Zone podcast, and I'm back today with two amazing decks for you. I promise you, have a second video today. I'm aware I only did one video yesterday. We're not going to be doing two every day. Doing one every day puts us ahead of basically every other creator at this point, but we're going to be doing two where possible going forward. One was enough for yesterday. I feel like I've been we've done a couple of 40-minute videos, and yesterday the Snap Judgments podcast came out, so it's not like there was only one piece of content that came out. I took the extra time to get a head start on my writing. I've got two Marvel Snap Zone articles coming this weekend. Make sure you check them out. Also, and we're going to go through this quickly, I promise, please like and subscribe and comment. Help us out with that YouTube algorithm. 1. 2, we provide you at least 2 brand new decks every weekday. These decks work. You can check in the comments and find various viewers talking about how much better they're doing since they started following this channel, since they started using these decks. We keep you ahead of the meta, which means that you're more effective at snapping because other people don't know what you're doing. So you can take more cubes, get infinite, get infinity, reach your goals in Marvel Snap. Now, we don't do gameplay on this channel. I have a whole long thing in yesterday's video about why. I honestly think it's for the best. If you want gameplay, check this Saturday Sleeper Decks of the Week over our Marvel Snap Zone. I very often have some of my creator friends provide gameplay for this so that they can try out some cool decks, show their viewers some cool decks, and then they can be on Marvel Snap Zone, which is a really big, really cool site that I'm a big fan of. In addition, we're doing the biggest giveaway in Marvel Snap. We are giving away 3 things, which is really 9 or 10 things. We are giving away what looks like 7 season passes. Every 200 subs, we give away an extra season pass. So it looks like we're giving away 7 season passes. That's the most of anybody. We are also giving to 3 of those 7 people Marvel Snap Zone Premium for the month, which comes with free coaching from Den, a $50 value. And one more thing we are giving. A giant truck drove by. I'm not editing that. You just get that. That's what happens. I live in New York. Sometimes that kind of thing is going to happen. All right. The last thing you can get is the Death Becomes Her bundle. The Death Becomes Her bundle is a $75 value that comes with enough progression stuff, along with variants and cosmetics and so on, to buy a Series 5 card, which is top of the line progression value. Hopefully you find value in this. Hopefully you find value in the content as well. Hit that sub, like, comment. Join us, help us with that YouTube algorithm. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Let's keep going. Next up, we have our friend Paper. This is Paper. Note the cool paper-looking logo, the little mask. Paper is awesome. At Paper Snap on YouTube, Paper is a card game genius. For some reason, he only has 1,000 subs. He needs more subs. He deserves more subs. He's amazing. If you're not sold yet on Paper, I've got 2 more sales pitches for you. Sales pitch number 1 is he's on the Snap Judgments podcast. See, right here on the Marvel Snap Zone YouTube. You can also check it on your favorite podcatcher. He was on the episode that we went live yesterday. We went over the top 5 cards in each cost slot. I think we found a really cool and innovative way to do it. We had an amazing conversation about relative card quality to the meta and in stasis and 1,000 other things about decks and so on. I think the episode came out really, really, really fantastically, and I hope you'll check it out. And if you do, I know you're going to go subscribe to Paper. Also subscribe to Fothar Newman, our other guest, as well. But my last sales pitch for Paper today is this Gene Going deck, because this deck is brilliant, and I'm going to explain why. This is a fairly honest deck that wants to fill a location with ongoing cards and Jean Grey. That makes a lot of sense, right? You fill a location with ongoing cards and Jean Grey using this deck. You play Jean, ideally on another card or 2. On turn 4, one of my favorite things to do is to snow guard with another card. Say, for example, you played Ant-Man and Mojo in a location. Now you're gonna snow guard and Jean, something along those lines. Or even better if you have Jeff in one of those spots, right? So you can choose whether to move or not. You've got Jeff, Jean, Snowguard, and Bojo in a location. Now, the best thing Snowguard does is turn off every location, right? Now, your opponent has to play in that location. You just unlocked whatever lockdown location for a turn. Professor X goes there. You've now won that location, and if you have Jeff, you've extra with extra sauce won that location, congratulations, you're going to do great. That's one way to win with this deck. Another way you can really, really like rock people is a lot of people are playing Legion. The reason we're sharing this deck today, or at least part of it, is I am obsessed with Legion. I have like 15 Legion decks to share with you. I kid you not. But I can't just share Legion deck after Legion deck, right? So this card does an amazing job. Again, the important thing Snorguard does is she turns off locations. Those Legion, I turn off locations things on turn 5. I shut the game down. On turn 5, if you play that version of Snowguard with Wave, you've basically absolutely destroyed those decks and you're going to win. That also, by the way, that exact play line will turn off a Magic. That will end the game at the end of turn 6 because Limbo will not work on turn 5. Snowguard is amazing. I wish that was Snowguard's only effect. I hate that she switches, but this is like the best use for Snowguard I've literally ever seen. Everything else should be fairly self-explanatory. It is a bunch of ongoing cards and a bunch of that gain power for playing cards in the same spot as your opponent, like Ant-Man and Mojo. Look, Iron Man doesn't hate when your opponent goes big there because you often go bigger. Cosmo and Armor give you a little bit of control, stop what your opponent is doing. Wave adds to that control element. Jeff adds some lane manipulation, as does Snowguard. We know what Professor X does, we talked about it, and Spectrum on the last turn, as necessary, provides a giant boost. If you're already winning a lane, thanks to the Gene, Mojo, Ant-Man nonsense, you don't have to Spectrum. You can drop Iron Man on something else elsewhere, right? Like an Iron Man on top of a reasonably sized lane, like a move a Jeff out and drop Iron Man there is often more powerful than any Spectrum. But sometimes Spectrum's going to win one of those other lanes. So there's pros and cons. But this deck does an amazingly good job of messing with lockdown decks, and the meta right now is largely lockdown decks. I hope you enjoy this deck. I hope you try it out. Remember to sub to Paper at PaperSnap, Paper_Snap at YouTube. He deserves it. Next up, Dara is one of the best players in the game. He's a very famous creator. If you don't know him, he's Dara JN over on YouTube, and he's worth following. He's one of the top players in the Conquerors event, and he made this masterpiece. We've been showcasing fairly similar decks. This might be the right alchemy, with one card exception. I don't love Lizard here. This card is like ridiculously good control for the power it puts out, right? So Darkhawk is big, Legion is big for his size, Iron Lad has basically nothing but good hits except for Legion. Killmonger plays bigger than his power because you can basically add his power to like whatever he kills, so he ends up being like almost always. If you lose the 2 from Korg, he's a 3-1, but if you're killing a 3-2, now he's a 3-3. If you're killing 2 3-2s, now you can count him as a 3-5 in your head. Just as like a nice rubric for what Killmonger does. In the Thanos meta, Killmonger is phenomenal, especially a Killmonger you can reasonably play on curve, which this is. You've got the big control pieces of Shang and Enchantress, along with Rockslide and Darkhawk. This is fundamentally a take on Safety Blade's deck that no one but me gives credit to Safety for, which is the Stature Hawk deck. This is like the updated version of the Stature Hawk deck. It cuts Stature, Darkhawk, and the move stuff, and basically says, what if we kept a lot of the stats thing and the control things and went from there? Spider-Ham is brilliant control and still shuts down a massive amount of the meta. If you stop playing him when he wasn't a 1-1 anymore, you're making a mistake. The one card I don't like here is Jeff. I recognize Jeff has a lot of good stats, especially at the end of the game. If you don't see Zabu, a last turn of Jeff with a Rockslide, Enchantress, Darkhawk, Shang-Chi, etc. is a good play. Personally, I'd rather double down and just play America Chavez in that spot and say I will see Zabu more often by playing America Chavez and not have to really worry about Lizard. Yes, you're losing that last turn draw, but I think seeing Zabu early is important enough. It also increases your chance to see Legion and Iron Lad and Spider-Ham and Rockslide early. All cards you don't especially want to be seeing into the last turn. Rockslide especially gets... Rockslide and Spider-Ham especially get way more powerful when they're played earlier in the game. The reason that we're talking so much about this deck is I think this deck has a real argument for being the best deck in the game right now. This frame, this shell, you can probably play with 2 or 3 cards. I think Jeff is great because of the lockdown meta, but I could easily see Jeff being another high power 2. Unfortunately, the other high power 2 I think fits best here is like Silk, but Jeff could probably relatively easily go ahead and become, I don't know, Polaris, a Medusa, so on. Same idea for Spider-Ham. You could even go down to a 1, although I don't love it with Killmonger, make Spider-Ham be Iceman. You just want it up. These cards can be Scorpion. You just want Luke Cage, makes some sense here. A nice control piece for the deck. What you're looking for. Lizard does have value with Enchantress because you can do the pops back up to 5. Lizard does have value with Echo because you throw Lizard on an Echo and his ongoing goes away. That's fine. I just don't like the I feel like because Thanos is so much of the meta, because you can't always guarantee a Killmonger, you're very often going to get your Lizard turned off, and you're going to feel a bad situation. Plus, if Lizard ends up being most needed in a lane with Zabu or Darkhawk, now you've got multiple anti-synergies with Enchantress, and that can become frustrating in the game. This might be the best. It won four different Infinity runs. 4. You need to try it. You need to play it if you can. If you don't have the cards, really sorry. Go back to the last deck. If you don't have the cards for that, check Marvel Snap Zone. I'm just going to actually go right back over to Marvel Snap Zone's YouTube, which I already have open. And look, top 5 Series 3 only decks, and you can upgrade any of those. If you need help building decks with your collection, come to the Marvel Snap Zone Discord every day. The link to that is in the description to this video. And when you're there, there's a section called Hanging with the Host, or Podcast Hang with the Host. That's where I hang out. I will personally help you build decks, I promise. That's all I got for today. Please remember to like, sub, comment, try out these decks. I think they're really sweet. See you later today, not tomorrow, later today. Peace.